Legion of loyal listeners and Wildcat fans, it's playoff football!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tailgate Zone. Tonight, we bring it to you live, a little bit of pregame. And I know we got a couple coaches here right out of the chute, Mike Cayley. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Kevin Westhouse, along with Mike Cayley, our great first guest tonight, head coach David Crail and Ryan Schurz, offensive coordinator.
Associate head coach.
Associate head coach. Jeez, right away. We got to give this guy a title. Anyway, Kevin Westhouse, Mike Cayley, glad you could join us here. We're going to probably spend an hour together. We're going to talk to a lot of coaches tonight, some fall winning coaches, some players. We might grab some fans from the stands. Yeah, we're going to have a good time here the next hour as they take us up to kickoff.
We're starting off with the young bucks, and the next step we got the old guys coming up behind you, so you better do well. They're watching you.
Yeah. Then we're going to break this thing down, and we're going to shimmy up the stairs, and try to set up upstairs and bring everybody to the game live. So, hey, Coach David Crail, third year, right? Third year? Yep. 2 conference championships. Got to feel pretty good about that coming in. They said, I think we've got the right guy. Raleigh says, I think we've got the right guy. You win 2 conference championships. Talk about your first 3 years and how excited you are about the progression your team has made.
Well, I appreciate the comments from Raleigh, but I think we have the right guys. Quite honestly, this is we've had some success over the course of the last 3 years. Really, that first year building up the foundation of what we were trying to do. But there are a lot of moving pieces to what we've been able to accomplish over the course of the last couple years, and we've got great coaches on staff. We've got great kids that have worked real hard. We have administrators that support what we're trying to do. So I appreciate the comments from Raleigh. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes that so many people don't see by a lot of people.
Let me talk a little bit about behind the scenes. You brought in ETS. You started that program. How integral is ETS as part of your program, and how much of that can you credit to your success on the field?
It's a game changer. What we needed to do when we came in is we needed something that was going to be consistent for our athletes to really buy into and believe in. And I think you've seen that not only in the football program, but with volleyball and with track and with soccer and all of the success. Basketball, you just go down the line. I mean, last year we won 7 conference championships.
7. For those of you, 7 Big Rivers Conference championships right out of the high school, right over there.
Yeah, and I think we're at 4 already in the fall. So they're a huge part of what we have accomplished here. So in terms of their importance, pretty vital to the process.
I know you guys are humble to the ETS. But your wives told me you guys started building a little cabin inside of the weight room. So, I mean, as long as you got ETS, but you guys, it's the big part is to have you guys making sure there's some accountability to the kids coming in the weight room as well.
That's a huge part of it. Our coaches are there in the off season. We make it a priority, and I think for any program to have sustained success, which is the ultimate goal here, it has to be a priority to not only the athletes but also the coaches. We can tell our athletes that we have, that they have to show up, but if we as coaches aren't accountable to them and showing that we supported them in that process, then it doesn't mean anything. So our coaching staff has done a really nice job of showing how important that part is, sure. and in turn the players have bought in.
Hey, I'll just tell you, from an aw shucks type of guy, we pretend like we know what we're doing up there in the booth and calling the game. I don't know a lot, but here's what I do know. I watch your team in the second half, and the novice eye, that conditioning shows up. I'm going, this team is in better shape than the other team. As the game grinds on, you can see your team gaining an edge in almost every game as the game progresses.
Yeah, and obviously that's a big part of the training, but I also think it's the way that we as coaches have really structured our practices, and the way that we try to take care of our players over the course of the season. Our practices are not physical in nature. We go in, we work fast, we try to keep an up tempo. Coaches like Schurz here does a really nice job of maintaining that tempo, and we get a lot of conditioning in practice. We haven't conditioned running sprints all year.
Huh.
Well, really all 3 years that we've been here.
Let's move on to the brains behind this operation. Head coach, or I guess associate coach, offensive coordinator, Ryan Schurz. Ryan Schurz, I'm putting it on you right now. Ryan's up in the booth. He's calling the plays. Talk to us about your play calling this year. Do you have just a handful of 10 that are working? Are you all over the board? How do you feel about your play calling this year, Ryan?
Well, this year's a little bit different, and I think it took probably until like week 5 to really figure out who we were and what we were good at. But I'm always trying to figure out, okay, of the things that we do, how can we keep it simple enough for our guys that I can find the 2, 3, 4 plays and beat them to death. And when you get in that situation, it makes the play calling pretty easy, but that's a good thing because it means it's working.
I know you have a long roster of plays, a lot of different sequences, a lot of different looks at the defense. You're always making adjustments. Is the play sheet fairly condensed, or do you get all over the board on your play sheet?
We try to have I usually have 6 to 8 formations, but a lot of times it's the same plays out of different formations and different motions, and just trying to make it look a little bit different to the defense, and also try to stress them out in as many spots as possible. So when you see like the jet sweep, that's combined with the inside run, and it's hard to defend both if you're doing both well.
Right. So 9 games, 7-2 this year. Great job calling the plays. Couple questions. First, maybe I should just ask this: the plays come down, right, to you, and then you're relaying the plays in.
You don't wear your headset much, though.
No. So they just go directly in. So talk to us about the sequence. Hey, for the fans at home, you might want to know, how do the plays get from up in the booth to the ears of Peter Noreen?
We try really hard to avoid me making any decisions at all on the sideline.
Know your role.
Yeah.
Stay in your swim lane.
Know your
Good for
role,
you.
right? No, all of that is coordinated with our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and our assistant coaches. They communicate all of those things. If there's certain things that that I think would work, I'll communicate that. But I trust my guys. They put so much time in, and it would not be intelligent of me to make decisions based on what I think when I know how much time and how much care and effort they're putting into it. So we trust one another and we just go with it.
Very good.
Westy,
Hey, a couple more.
can I back this up on these guys real quick?
Go ahead.
Can you go back
Mike.
to where you guys met?
I was going to go there.
Kind
Go,
of
Mike.
the path of where you came from and how you ended up in River Falls.
Yeah, I actually.
It was 1987.
I remember it exactly. I had been hired at Northwestern High School to be an assistant, and we were in a van headed to a
down by the river.
To a coach's clinic. We stopped and picked Schurz up on the way, and that's when I first met him. And we've been with each other ever since. So, like I said, I think that you mentioned it at halftime of the North game. I've had the opportunity to coach with this guy for my entire career, and really wouldn't have it any other way.
So 3 years in River Falls. Best decision you've ever made?
This was a fantastic decision, not only professionally, just in terms of the challenges that it brought, the moving up a couple divisions, and from a coaching standpoint, but from working with the school district, it's been fantastic. We have such great administrators here, and they've been super supportive in the classroom. And then from a family perspective, our family loves it here, and our kids and Bethany, my wife, we're thriving here. It's been a lot of fun. We have a lot of support.
Well, our community is glad to have you. Ryan, feel the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a pretty easy decision. I went to college here. I had coached baseball here a long time ago, and I got to see how good it was. So having the opportunity to come back was something that my family was looking forward to as well.
Sure. Let's hear the story. The River Falls job opens up 3 years ago. You guys are up in Northwestern. Not looking for a move. Comfortable.
Well, I don't know that he was, but I know that my parents had lived up there and they moved away, and my wife and I had talked about, this was before any of this happened, about maybe relocating here at some point, and then that opened up, and I told him that he should apply, and I think he laughed, and I said, no, seriously, I still know some people there, and I'll see what it's like, but I know it's a great school, I know it's a great place, I know you'd love it.
You trusted him that much?
And then he did the rest.
Yeah, it's social media played a pretty significant role. You saw that the job was posted on Twitter and sent a text message, and he's right. I did laugh. Didn't quite think that I had been a head coach. I'd only been a head coach for 2 years,
Sure.
bumping up 2 divisions and one of the best conferences in the state. There's maybe a little second guessing in regards to my personal resume as a head coach, but ultimately we gave it a shot, and I knew that if I took the job that he was coming with me, so so that helped.
So let me ask you this, if you don't mind, Westy. I mean, you've been here for 3 years. What are some of the surprising things that this community has brought to you, coaching, family, working, teaching, that you weren't really ever expecting to have happen here at River Falls?
It's different from where we were before, and that's not a bad thing.
Nope.
It's different in the fact that the Northwestern that school district is spread out. It's one of the largest school districts, square miles wise in the state.
Yep.
And this is a tight knit community, and we felt that support in year one with the transition and some of the stuff that we were trying to work through. But year 2, I think we really felt that when we started to have some success, the culture and things started to change, and the community really embraced us, embraced our program, embraced really the things
That's
that
just
we were
'cause you're
trying
winning.
to do.
I mean, that's the big thing.
Hey, winning never hurts.
Yeah, winning certainly helps, but it's about more than that. It's about the things that our kids are doing in the community. It's about the things that they're doing at the school, and really the whole cultural change was embraced. It wasn't just about the production on the field.
We talked a little bit about that last week on the field. We talked about your motto, win their respect. It's it's about much more than just wins, and it's about all those things you were just mentioning right here, right now, is winning the respect in the field, yes, but winning the respect of the community, their classmates, their teachers, their peers. It's a lot more than just about on the field.
Yeah, the goal of our coaching staff is obviously we want to have success on the
Don't
field.
look over your shoulder, dude. we got a sunshade.
Good Lord.
A couple of your guys behind you want to come join your interview.
Some handsome dudes.
Yeah, winning their respect.
Yeah, I mean, we want to win on the field. There's no doubt. We're some of the most competitive people that that you'll know. But ultimately, what we want is we want our kids to have a great experience in our program, 10 and 20 and 30 years down the line. We want them to remember this, and I think that you'll be able to talk to your next guests, Forrester and Carol, about that. They have guys coming back to talk to them that have, are long gone. I mean, these guys have coached.
They're just older.
The kids.
They're not long gone. They're just older.
Just older, yeah.
Hey.
But they've coached the kids of players that they've had.
Yep.
And they've all had really good experiences. So I think that's the ultimate goal.
Hey, let's have a little bit of fun and just kind of wrap this thing up. Coach Schurz, offensive play caller, 9 games in the books. Talk to us about your best call of the season, and talk to us about your worst call of the season. What's the one you went, I know all plays are supposed to work, but you go, geez, why did I call that? And you got anything?
The best call is anytime I can just call our power play and know I'm going to get like 6 yards. That's like, I'm good with that. The worst call, I was thinking about that, is probably a call against Menominee down by the goal line when we it was probably a play that was better for Seth and didn't work out very well.
There you go.
But
That's candid. That's candid. So thank you.
All right, gentlemen, real quick, got a couple more minutes. Want to talk about your seed this year's playoffs? Division 3, a little shocking. We talked about it last night a little bit. You want to talk about tonight's matchup? And
The Rhinelander Hodags in town. They got a stud.
It was a little bit surprising to drop down to Division 3. I think that the chip game against Hudson played a pretty significant role in that last week. So it wasn't something that we were necessarily anticipating. Whether it's a good or bad move, I don't know. You come to the playoffs, all teams are ready to go.
Yep.
So, you've got to be ready to play, and you've got to have your team focused. In terms of the seeding, probably ended up where I thought we were going to end up.
Yep.
With Menominee taking the 1, and then Medford, an undefeated team, taking the 2. So, I think we're in a good spot there.
Good. Drake Martin preparing for Drake tonight, running back for Rhinelander.
Yeah, they have some talented backs, 28, 22, 27. 28 runs the ball pretty hard. He's a bigger kid. He'll go downhill and runs well. Runs really well. I think he's like 1,300 yards or something like that over the course of the season. And then their backs that have a little bit more speed, 22, 27, they like to run that counter play and trap and those types of things with them. Quarterback makes really good decisions. I think he's got one pick on the year, and they pick their spots in terms of when they're going to throw. But when they do it, they seem to do it well. So we're going to have to play really well defensively. We've done a nice job over the course of the last few weeks defensively of really working to shut down the run, and we're going to have to do that tonight to have success.
There you go.
All right.
I would put a big red bow around this thing,
do
I
it.
think. If I just want to say, too, Coach David Crail,
Get after it,
head coach, or Coach Ryan Schurz, this community, River Falls, is better because you guys are here. Our football program's better because you guys are here. It's fun getting to know you. It's fun getting to know you, Ryan.
Oh, geez.
Look forward to continuing our relationship, become better friends as we go on. But again, this community is better because of both you guys are here. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for taking the time tonight. And how about a little Go Wildcats? Put your hands together for Ryan Schurz and David Crail.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks,
Have
guys.
fun.
Thank you. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Enjoy it, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow, Westy, look out behind you. We got the Young Bucks
We
leaving.
got the young bucks. Let's feed them a little bit. We got some prizes.
geez.
Let's go into the grab bags that we got. We got prizes coming from First National Bank of River Falls too. But let's feed them a little bit. We got
Game
some
day
balls.
volume okay back there?
we
Robert,
go.
volume's good? Tom Carroll and Bill Dog Forrester, come on up. Wow.
Come on up.
Shoo off the young guys and bring on the old timers. Bill Forrester, Tom Carroll. I don't know if you guys have met Kevin Westhouse.
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, good to meet you. Thanks for taking the time.
You got to be held close to the
Yeah,
mouth.
you got to hold it up to your chin. So have it touch your chin.
All right.
Turn that back on for you. Hold on a second. Let me turn it on. There we go. Yeah, just hold it right up to your chin. You'll be good.
Actually had it off for
Of
me.
course
There
we
you go.
did. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining our first ever game day here at Raymer Field. Big playoff game. You know, Bill, you've been around, still on the staff. Can you guys give just a little brief resume before we had cars on the roads when you started this thing? Can you talk a little bit about your resume?
He's before me, so he can start first.
Well, I started coaching the Wildcats in the fall of '76. Ron Wunrow was the head coach at that time. And then I took over as the head coach in 1978. And I think this guy started on, 79?
79.
Yeah, so right after me. And we've been coaching together for a long time, and lots of fun. And we had some great years, and, you know, it was just a lot of fun.
And you're still staying involved, right, Tom? I mean, you're driving bus, so you're still listening to the coaches in the seat behind you. I know that.
Well, we do a lot of lower level officiating, and
Yep.
I'm also on a varsity crew. So, and we just don't. We have level 2 and level 4 this year, our varsity crew. So, I got the chance to watch the Wildcats tonight, which I'm excited
Good.
about, and looking forward to it. And hopefully, they can take care of the Hodags tonight. So, you bet.
Resume, Bill? I know you guys worked together for a couple of years.
Just about, I started in 79. When I started, I had kind of a goal to be a head coach. And after about 10 years coaching with him, I was so satisfied being an assistant, I didn't want to be a head coach. Well, then he decided to be an administrator. And all the other coaches on staff said, you're applying for the job.
Uh-huh.
So then I was head coach for 12 years, and about 12 years is about enough. And then I've since then did freshman for a couple years, varsity assistant a couple years, D coordinator a couple years. Now I'm back to doing JV
Of
and
course.
making sure the uniforms get clean after the game.
So you guys know the way that, you know, Schurz and Crail, they're spending time together like you guys always did. What are some of the things that people don't see that happen between a couple of coaches like you guys were and Ryan and David?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is trust.
Okay.
And I would say this, you know, and people that know us well enough know that, and I'm not just saying this as a fact, I'd trust this guy with my life.
Sure.
And, you know, that to me, and loyalty, those two things I think are the greatest thing that an assistant can give a head coach. And, you know, he's the epitome of that, loyalty and trust. And, you know, to this day, I mean, we're good friends. We have lots of fun together, just doing crazy things. And,
Good.
you know, we had a lot of fun coaching together, but we just have a lot of fun just as human beings now, and two old farts just enjoying life, you know.
I can remember when I was D coordinator under Tom, and Tim Thompson, one of the old teachers here, was the offensive coordinator, and we would on Sunday nights get together and go over game plans.
Yep.
And him and I would be just about in fights. And Tom would come in, and by the time Sunday night was done into Monday, we were all together. It was just we'd argue it out, and then it was no question what we were going to do for the week, and that's the way it should be.
And I think that's, a real testament to the coaches that I had as assistants back in the day. When we were by ourselves in coaching meeting,
Yep.
they used to let the fur fly, and sometimes it was at me.
Sure.
And, when that first started to happen, I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, now I'm the head coach. I'm supposed to be in charge and all that stuff. And then I started to just sit back and say, wow, this is pretty special that they feel comfortable enough to tell me what they think rather than just say yes, yes, yes. And I think that was part of the reason that we had the success that we did. We had coaches like Tim Thompson with us. We had Paul Hoagland with us for years and years. Yep. Doug Yerschel with us years and years. Paul Petroviak, and I could go on and on with some of these guys that were with us for a long time. And I think as a head coach, one of the things that you need is that stability on your staff. And when guys are with you for 10, 12, 15 years, that's a big thing, because we didn't have to have a lot of meetings knowing we knew what we were going to do. We knew our roles as coaches and what needed to be done. And when things happen, we made adjustments, and they just happened. And that's a real testament to the guys that I had the opportunity to coach with.
So let's talk about playoff football, gentlemen. Things change. You guys both took teams deep into the playoffs. What is the biggest difference from last week, regular season ending, you're into the playoffs, and it's time to get ready to go deep and make a run?
Well, I think one of the big things is your momentum going in. If you've had some winning, during the season, as the Wildcats have had this year, I think that's a real stepping stone into the playoffs. I think if you maybe lost your last game, I feel very sorry for Hudson and Coach Cowles. I think it was a tough game to lose, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got to get ready for one of the better teams in your section. And so that's tough, but I think that momentum going in really helps you. And, and obviously, if you've got a good team, and your high expectations, all of that, I think all of those things are important to make a big run.
It's a lot different today than it was as far as getting in. It used to be you could be, third in your conference and you might not make the playoffs. Yep. There are a lot more teams in. It's easier to get in. Also, years ago they used to have teams would be all neutral sites.
Yep.
And I think it just creates a whole lot more excitement when you have it on a home field, somebody's home field. I think you even get more of the visiting crowd coming because you don't want to have it on the home field.
This was the poll that went out earlier today. This was done on a Bill Forster poll. It was done with marker and a piece of paper.
Will Rhinelander win? That looks like about like a 95% chance no on they won't win.
All right, gentlemen, talk about the role of a coach. You guys have spent a lot of time. You've built some great relationships. It's a special, special title to have. So why don't you talk a little bit about how big and how important the role is, not of just the head coach, but it goes down into your entire staff and how special it is. We just celebrated your 89 championship, and Danny Purvis still says in 2019 he'd run through a wall for you.
Well, and I think, one of the biggest things for me now, being retired and, having a chance to reminisce with players, say, from the 89 team 30 years ago, the greatest thing for me, and even when I was coaching, it was fun to win championships, fun to make a deep run into the playoffs, get into the semifinals for the state, whatever. But I think the greatest thing that I've enjoyed is having success. Those players have success that I coach. Whether they're good human beings, they're good husbands, they're good fathers.
Sure.
They're just good people, and that's what's fun for me. To see that and to be a little bit a part of that in their lives, and I'm really proud of some of the things that they've done. So,
Bill, role of a coach, role of a head coach.
I think I was a head coach, and I think one of the things that Tom did, I think one of the things I try to do, and one of the things that I see Coach Grill doing is, you don't coach a kid during the season. you're part of their fabric. You know, you see Coach
Good looking
Krill
kid there, Tom.
at swim meets, at
Yep.
volleyball games, at basketball games, at hockey games, at boys, girls, whatever. He's involved in the high school fabric. Kids, he's part of being with kids. It isn't okay. Football's over now. We'll see you next fall.
No.
And it's amazing. You see it with our summer weight training and stuff. They were on average, 4 or 5 coaches.
Yep. We talked about that with them just now.
With the kids, and I think it's important that the kids know that you're there with them all the time. You're not there just with them as a football player, and you're there to help them through whatever they need. So.
And it's fun for me to watch as a former head coach, and I'm sure for Coach Forster it's the same way, is to see another coach come in as Coach Krill has and establish some of those neat things for kids, not just winning football, but winning people.
Yeah.
And
That's it right there.
you bet. And creating
The relationships, right?
Exactly. And creating success not just on the football field, but in their lifetime,
Yep.
in the classroom, in the community, and hopefully in their lifetime.
Coach Krill hit on that the last segment. He said, "Win their respect is a lot more than about winning games on the football field. Winning respect is winning the respect of their peers, their teachers, their parents, their friends, and doing what's right in the community as well."
And I agree. It's being a total winner, not just
Yep.
on the field, but in the classroom, in the community, at home.
Yes.
And hopefully out in their lifetime when they become.
And I think that's being instilled right now in River Falls
It
and in
is.
River Falls football. Mike, we should
Lo-
probably
loaded
get
question. I got one
Yep,
more.
go,
for you. You
good,
started
yep.
this a long time ago. What's changed since the late '70s to 2019? As a coach, kids, wherever you want to take this, what's the biggest couple of changes?
When he was head coach, and anybody
it's gonna
that
be about
played
Tom.
with Tom and me when we were coaching together, the kids used to say Friday night's easy compared to practice because we used to hammer each other at practice. We don't do that anymore.
Really, you guys will go at it. I mean, full bore.
We don't go for full bore hardly. We don't take anybody to the ground in practice. The theory today is you keep players fresh. You work on your drills and stuff like that. But as far as scrimmaging, we don't take players to the ground.
What do you think is better?
I think it's a sign of the time. Offense is our defense. You used to play in the middle border back in the day, double tight, 3-back, smash it,
Yep.
and you had to practice for that. And
That's
you
a good
had
point.
a lot of farm kids that didn't lift a lot of weights, but boy, they got kicked around by cows and stuff. They were tough. And today it's just a different sport.
Sure.
And what I would say the difference that I see is the technology. Having a drone out to film you in practice, that's tremendous,
Yeah.
So I think the technology, on the computer, for example, there's so many statistics and information that you can get.
just breaking it down to whole new levels.
Exactly. And you know that your opponent, you know him probably almost as well as you do
Right.
your own team because you see so much film. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, you see that out on there. I was watching a week ago, watching practice, and I just noticed a player, and I was like, I watched him a few times, and it was like, then we can't, go, what are you doing? And it's like, showed it him, and he was like, yeah, what was I doing? you know every time. You might not see it out at practice, but you watch the film at practice, and you can see exactly what's going on. You can so here's what you're doing. Do you want to play like that? Heck no, I don't
Sure.
want to play like that.
Last question, gentlemen. One memory from a football game that stands out the most. One memory.
We probably had the same one, and I'll let him go.
Well, the one that I'm going to talk about could happen again, hopefully next Friday. And when we play Medford, we played Medford back in 1988.
Okay.
And we beat them in overtime at Stout to go to the state semifinals. And I'll never forget that. That was a tremendous game. Our kids just played their hearts out. We were down big time at halftime. In fact, Medford thought it was over at halftime, and our kids came out and just played their hearts out.
Okay.
And we went on to the state semifinals, and that was just And there's so many great memories, but that one kind of pops out.
I just
at
need
me.
one.
But
That's the same one, that game. I mean, it took
Wow.
us, and it was, my memory of it is that at halftime, our coaching staff would always get together. So Doug Herschel, who was a long time with us, and we got together, and right before coming off half, we're down 14-0, and Tom's like, hey, and ready to just let the riot act in halftime. And Doug and I are like, we're playing really well. They're playing better. If they keep playing that way, we're going to lose. If they don't, and we keep playing like we're doing, we got a chance. And he goes, yeah, you're right. And we went out and played better, and they didn't play as well.
And I think the memory that I have actually after coming, what Bill just said is we didn't really talk to the players at all. The captains went in and told them exactly what they thought and felt. They came out better than we would have said anything, so it was exciting.
Oh, no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Carroll, former head coach, Bill Forrester, former head coach. 42 years the guy's been with the Wildcats.
42 years!
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
42 years, Bill,
Thanks,
Tom.
brother.
All right, thank you
Good luck
very
tonight.
much. You guys, thank you very much.
All right,
Put your hands together for the wily veterans of Wildcat
There they are,
Nation.
still looking great. Where's Carrie DeLuca? Is she back there somewhere wanting to come forward?
Also, I saw Jeff Johnson in the house, First National Bank. Jeff, did you bring any swag along tonight? You got any goodies for the crowds?
He's eating chili.
All right. Hey, why don't you throw First National Bank of River Falls, our proud sponsor, always throwing stuff in the crowd.
Hang on to that.
There we go.
There
Thank you, First
there she
National
is.
Bank, our very proud sponsors.
Next up,
Come on up.
on the game day experience, the head coach. You guys can share this. Mason and Allison. Nice to meet you
Here,
guys.
you can
Thanks for
take that
coming
one
on.
too. So when you hold those, hold them good and close
Yep.
to your mouth, like right up.
All right, Miss DeLuca,
Hey.
you are the
Oh,
head
yeah.
coach of the boys and girls cross country team.
That's correct.
And just added one of the 4 conference titles this fall with the guys,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So why don't you talk a little bit about your season this year and coming down and winning the conference?
Okay. Well, the boys team this
You
year.
want to introduce these guys first?
Yes, I can. This is Mason Shea. He's a senior. And this is Allison Weisinger. She's a junior. Both of them are captains for our
Nice.
teams, our respective
Congratulations.
teams. So if you want to know PRs, Mason ran a 15:50 this year,
Ooh.
5K.
And
Allison just ran
that's
a
averaging what per mile, Mason?
507s, I think.
Hold that up. Let everybody hear.
507s.
A 5:07 mile for 3 straight miles.
I biked that once.
I can't drive that fast.
and Allison just ran a 19:46, so that's like 6:18 per mile for 3 straight
Outstanding,
miles.
Allison. Nice job.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about the season in your guys' team.
Yeah, the boys team is one of the strongest we've had in, I would say, a decade, to be honest. We're going into sections tomorrow with just a lot of confidence and hoping to make it to state. And last year we had a little meeting. We knew the talent we had on the boys team, and we had a little meeting and said, we need to take down those dynasties of Hudson, Eau Claire Memorial that show up every year and just win things. And we're like, we want to be that team. And
you're going different
this year-
seasons, right? Are we fall boys, spring girls?
Nope, it's the same season.
season?
Yep,
Okay,
we're
outstanding.
we're all competing right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And how'd you do with the girls' team?
The girls took 6th, so
Nice.
we're developing. We're in
Yep.
a developing year, but Allison here has had some really great runs and been on the podium in a lot of races,
Nice.
so that's been really cool.
And what's your resume? I mean, just how long you been here?
Me?
Yeah, I know you've been teaching
this
for a
is
while.
this is my 10th season
Yep.
with the team. 6th as head coach. I was the assistant before that. I am a 7th grade social studies teacher in River Falls.
Yeah.
Been here this is my 11th year teaching in this district. So
I have a question for Allison.
Please.
Give Allison a microphone. Allison, how long have you been running? And really, when did you discover that, hey, I'm a runner? Sign me up. When was that happen? Last year or when you were 4?
No,
Put that right up to
I
your
would
mouth.
say
There.
about like middle school. It was my aunt. She's like big into running. She did like marathons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she just like asked me if I wanted to run a race one day. So I was like, oh sure, why not? So I did it and I loved it. And like ever since then, my aunt's kind of like pushed me to always be better and like keep developing for running. So from then on, I've always loved it.
So after that first race, when you got done, you're looking around, everybody's exhausted and tired, and did you say, I don't feel that bad, what's the big deal? Did you get one of those, or were you just totally exhausted?
I was totally exhausted.
There you go.
Question
Mason,
for you, Mason.
go ahead.
I mean,
Go back up to Mason.
and this will go off your coach, too. I mean, how do you prepare throughout the fall to make sure tomorrow you're getting ready to put in some of your best work? I mean, how do you track your season a little bit just to make sure you're healthy and you got the proper legs to give it a good run tomorrow?
Definitely taking each day like one at a time. So easy days are for recovering, and then pounding the workouts and really trying to benefit on the
Yeah.
whole season as like a whole. Try to like make sure you get good sleep and hydration, stuff like that, and eat right. So.
And then we make you come do a show like this the day before sections just to throw it off a little bit?
Yeah.
So what are some of your goals going into tomorrow? Personal goals, team goals?
I want to win it as a team. I think we have a good shot, and if we can all work together and feed off each other's energy, we can do it, I think.
And where's that tomorrow?
New Richmond.
Good
It's at Paperjack Elementary, if anybody wants to come to it.
It's going to be running weather tomorrow, isn't it? Nice and cool in the morning.
Yeah.
Maybe a low wind.
That's perfect, honestly.
Perfect.
I like heat, but no one else does, so.
So what do you do? I mean, obviously they're out running. It was like when I used to coach golf. You couldn't go on the golf course. So I mean, what do you do tomorrow while they're out on the course?
What do I do? Oh, well, I'm out there with them. So we, as a coach, we go out there and we run from different spots.
Yep.
So usually I try to be at the 1K, so they know when they see me first in the race, they're supposed to be at a specific time.
Yep.
So they didn't go out too fast or go out too slow. And then we're just running around making sure everybody is doing their job on the course. So maybe our number 5 or 4 girl or something is too far back. We're like, you got to move up. You gotta work in this next mile. So we're out there just watching everybody, making sure, because they can't see what their teammates are doing.
Sure.
So we're like their eyes out there of like making sure we're placing where we need to be.
And who do you get help from? Who's your staff?
So I have 2 assistants. Nick Stensky, he's a teacher in the district, and then Shad Gaussman. He does not work in the district, but has been coaching with us for quite a while.
So do we like tomorrow's track? Is it a good course?
I've actually never ran there.
Yeah, I haven't ran there since middle school. So
Hilly,
I
flat?
Don't really
I mean, is it
remember.
a straightforward course? I mean,
It's a pretty good course. It's a 2-loop course. There's a couple hills, but it's supposed to be a pretty fast course, you know, so maybe some PRs. And yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Outstanding.
Well, outstanding. Tomorrow, you want to do a little shout out of where you at? What time?
We're in New Richmond at Paperjack Elementary. Boys or girls run at 1. Boys are at 1:45.
Well, outstanding.
So,
Well,
yeah.
thank you guys for coming up. Appreciate your time. Great season. Keep up the good
Thanks
work.
for having us.
Thank you.
Get after it tomorrow.
Mason, Allison,
PR.
Carey. Hey.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it very
Mason,
much.
congratulations. Allison, great job. Put your hands together for the Wildcat Cross Country Runners.
Sections tomorrow. All right, where's Gabe Van Pelt? I don't even know. Where's there? I knew he had a beard, and it had to be this guy. And Jaden Wywoody, nice to see you. We chatted a little bit yesterday.
Hey,
nice
Gabe,
to
Kevin,
see you.
West Test.
Jaden Wywoody.
Hi, Jaden.
Got to hold it close to your mouth if you
Hold it
would.
right up tight there.
All right,
Tuck
Gabe,
it in that beard. You'll be good to go.
Sounds good.
tell us a little bit about yourself. A little resume about coming to River Falls. How long you been doing this? Oh, there's one of Scherz's kids. Look out. She loves the camera.
Yeah, this is my 4th year coaching the girls golf team.
Okay.
I've been working with the boys for this will be coming 5 years for
Oh,
the
good.
boys. Coach Sowa was with us for a while.
Yep.
She's now transitioned to
Yep.
UWRF, but it's been great working with her. We've been developing Jaden and a lot of our seniors for the last 4 years. Had a great season this last year. Back-to-back conference champions this year, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And introduce Jaden. Yeah. Jaden Wywoody, star golfer this year, qualified for the state tournament. How many players have we had qualify here in recent years history, Gabe?
Oh wow! It's been a while. We have a great program. I mean, our history, girls golf, boys golf, is really solid here in the community. It's probably been, I would say, 6-7 years since we've had that. Somebody participating and giving us some representation at the state level. So, Jaden played amazing at University Ridge. The entire team. We just came a little short this year as a team, but it was a great season for us overall. Yeah.
All right, Jaden, take me down to U Ridge. 2 rounds down there, 2 18-hole rounds for your state tournament, correct?
Yep, 2
When was it?
18.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, last week. Yeah,
Last week.
early last week.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious what your weather was like down there.
Hold that
It
right up and
was-
just tell us, Brenda.
It was definitely cold. The practice round for sure was definitely the worst day. It was windy and rainy, but I don't know, battled through it.
Did you go down there with a goal in mind? Trying to finish in the top 10, top 20, top?
I just tried to, do my best. It was a little tough at first, new experience, but I just tried to do my best.
So how do you guys prepare for the trip down to Madison? Coach and athlete.
I think the biggest thing for us is it's a bigger stage.
Yep.
You have a lot of eyes. Everybody's watching all the time.
Yeah.
So just trying to be comfortable in the situation and not getting distracted by all the things going on around and just staying focused on every shot,
Sure.
one shot at a time. and not getting stressed out about all the things that maybe can get in your head. And yeah, absolutely.
A lot of things get in your head in a game of golf.
Absolutely, yeah.
For sure.
Jaden, how long have you been playing golf?
Actually, I just started my freshman year.
Jaden's an athlete stud. old hockey girl, so she's got the natural.
So someone just throw a club in your hand and go, this would be nothing.
Yep.
Just tried it out freshman year, and I've just been on the grind ever since. So.
Were you able, Jaden, to go down there and have fun? I know you're working. And I know a lot of kids, and I talk about this with my wife and their volleyball team and my daughters, is can you go down there and every once in a while on a tee box when you're not up, just kind of take it all in and look around?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was definitely just a really fun experience, and especially to have the whole team come out there and support me. Just really cool. And
all right, Gabe, what do you got moving forward? Guys, girls, teams still?
Girls, yeah, we had a great amount of freshmen. We have 6 new freshmen coming out this year that joined us. It's bittersweet. You know, we lose 6 seniors that really kind of shaped our team, gave a lot of leadership to our team. But I think they really did a nice job of motivating those younger players. As a coach, I'm excited to have Jaden and McKenna Zhang had a great year this last year. So there's a lot of leadership, I think, to help the girls, these younger ones, the new wave that comes in. And we're hoping to be competitive and hope to make it back to back in conference at least.
There we go,
so,
more conference champions.
Jaden, here's a secret for you. You maybe you'll figure out someday. Football players, basketball players, all these guys, well, after they're done here, they might never play again. You're going to play golf till you're 80.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's really cool about the golf.
Lifelong sport.
Lifelong sport. You're going to make a lot of relationships, have a lot of good times on the golf course, something you can do forever.
Yeah,
and then,
great idea.
It's definitely one of the reasons I started playing golf was that.
Very good.
Well, outstanding head golf coach Gabe Van Pelt, Jaden Wywoody, thank you guys so much. Appreciate
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for
Good
coming.
fall.
The time.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks for coming.
Good job. Put your
Hey, do we have Zach Johnson in the house? Zach, come on up, Zach. I'm going to get him real quick here.
We got a
special guest. All right.
You could have got me a
How
glass
about
of water.
some boys basketball? Put your hands together for Zach Johnson.
Well, how about you?
Zach, we got about, hey, good to see you, man. Hey, we got about 90 seconds here, Zach. Defending BRC basketball champions. I know you've been working hard in the offseason. What have you and your team been doing in the offseason to get you ready for the 2019-2020 season?
Oh, we've been getting a lot of work in at open gyms and stuff.
Did you know you're ranked number 8 in the preseason?
Number 8 in the preseason polls.
I wasn't sure if you knew that or not.
Yeah, we knew
How'd
that.
you know that?
But, we've been getting a lot of work in open gyms and stuff. We've been working out with a trainer, Ben Edelberg. Great guy, great trainer. A lot of work lifting, ETS every day.
ETS in the basketball program.
For sure, yeah.
That's good. So what are you thinking about your team this year? You got a lot of returners this year, Zach. You got the Doherty boys, yourself. You got Ponyboy Flood coming back. What are you feeling about your team?
Johnson.
We got a lot of size, very good team. Conference champions, that's the goal, and obviously get to the state championship too is another big goal of ours. Got some returners obviously, and some guys coming back, or some JV kids too. Michael Sherman, Ragan Pinot, some big guys that could step up for us.
You can have a solid 8, is what I hear.
Yeah, probably for sure.
So the real question is, Zach, can you beat Coach Schurz in a shooting contest? I hear the dude shoots lights out.
He's green light, but
Can you beat him?
I don't know, man.
I think we might have to set that up with Coach Schurz and Zach here to see what we can do.
Shooting up the threes. All right, Zach Johnson, thanks for coming here and joining us this afternoon.
Thanks, buddy. Good luck to you. Enjoy the
Defending BRC basketball champions, looking for another one this year, Zach Johnson.
Look at these boys. They switched over the navy and gold to the black and red. It's Luke Nelson and Nate Ricksman.
All right.
Gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back.
How you doing, boys?
Hey.
Hey, good to see you.
A little bit.
Nice to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
Let's flash back to a year ago and what's playoff football like as a player. I know, Luke, it was a little bit different for you because you banged up the knee and we're on the sidelines, but you're still there with your boys. So what's tonight like for these guys in the locker room?
Coming from from last year, we had the Saturday noon game. I could just feel throughout the entire day on Friday, just the energy in the entire school was just different. It was exciting, something we've never had before in the program. And then once we hit that field Saturday underneath, it wasn't really the lights, but it felt like a Saturday college game, and that was just something I'll never forget. I still remember the first play, crackdown blocking the linebacker. I can still hear the helmets cracking today. Something I'm never going to forget.
Luke, how was it on the sideline? It's a hard one to transition to.
For sure. No, it was still fun though. I was cheering everybody on.
There you go.
in my crutches, doing as much as sideline cheering as I could, but it was still a lot of fun. It was a blast. Jared had that touchdown. If he's watching, shout out to the F nude play. That was awesome. Yeah.
All right,
threw up the
gentlemen.
deuces.
You moved about an eighth of a mile away over here to Raymer Field, coming to college here. Why don't you talk about your transition into college football with Coach Walker and the program?
It's been a lot of fun. Practices are a lot harder. We go.
How so?
Just the transition from being the top, and then going to the lowest again. You're the freshman. You got to play against those big kids.
Oh yeah.
Just that combination of that and the long days. We're there from, in the fall camp we come in during the morning and be there till 8 at night.
Yeah.
Meetings, practice, everything. So
Are they slow days or do they go by fast?
they're pretty fast. But during the summer camp, it was pretty slow.
All right, Ricksman, what's the transition been like for you?
Coming from high school football, starting in August, doing 2 days practice, all that. Something that kind of changed for me was how much time and commitment you needed to put into it. College ball, so much film, so much play work you always need to get to. There's a whole new team you need to learn.
Yeah.
Like Luke said, you start at 8 o'clock in the morning, end at 8 o'clock at night. Long practices, constant lifts. I know we're lifting 3 times a week here. But yeah, going from the top dog, elite athlete on the field to just kind of
How big and nasty are those boys?
Pretty big.
Pretty nasty too, aren't they?
Nasty. Those guards.
Yeah, I've got a sentimental question. Now, Mike likes to go right to the sentimental questions. I'm going to go for one right now. Coach Crail, what did Coach David Crail mean to you guys? Let's start out with Nate. So, how did he impact your life?
So meeting Crail right off the bat, I already knew he was so motivated. He was so passionate towards the game. I could see he was really
invested in us.
Yep, he was invested. From the start, I could see he cared about each and every one of us, and he wanted only the best for us. So it's individual time, one-on-one, leadership groups, meetings all the time. So it was a big change in culture. Just the behavior, the feeling towards the game just was different. Going in, playing varsity my sophomore year, kind of just when you lose a game, it was just kind of the attitude. You're like, okay, we'll just pass it on. Maybe we'll get the next one. But once Crail came in, I don't know if it was me personally. I think the team felt the same way. We took it personally when we lost. And just the culture, you were so much more excited to get on that field on a Friday night under the lights. Anything to add?
Yeah. No, I think the ETS program that we brought in really changed it. Just guys getting in the morning at 6 a.m., busting their butts in the summer, just created a brotherhood that we couldn't break on the field on Friday nights. So,
yeah. Any advice you guys have for the boys playing here tonight? For the newbies? The guys that weren't part of the...
Cherish every minute. Yep. I know as soon as I stepped off that field after our Pulaski game, our second playoff game, deep down in my heart, I've never felt worse just to know I'll never play high school football again. I just look back at the pictures now, and I miss every second of it. Just everybody growing up for years. Some of the kids I played sports with in kindergarten, and then knowing I'll never play with them again, kind of heartbreaking.
I got a game day thing here. We haven't done it yet tonight, but since we got the young studs back here, we need to score. Lander River, we need to score, Nate. We need to score tonight. What do we got? We're coming to you next, Luke. We need a score.
Prediction time.
Here we go.
Prediction time. Let's see. We've got, so tonight, Krieger's been having really great games. He's been doing really well at the running.
If you want to look at a poll, this is what it looks like.
We don't want to help. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm all for that. There's a little bit
Give us a score. Come on.
There's too much yellow in there. Score-wise, I'm going to put up, let's go 35-10.
35-10 River Falls. Nate Ricksman's prediction. Luke, what do you got, Luke?
I'll say 34-8.
Luke. 34-8. Oh, defense is going to stand strong tonight.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Luke Nelson, Nate Ricksman, thanks so much, guys. Wish you the best
you very much.
start of your college
Luke,
career.
Nate, thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Hang on, Chad 40. Kaylee. Sarah, Kaylee, you want to come model real quick?
Thanks.
All right, Chad 40, come on up here.
All right. Chad, Kevin Westhouse.
Nice to meet you.
Kaylee Lemke, my goodness, you look
There
like
you
your
go,
mother.
Kaylee. Take a mic.
All right.
When you're talking those, hold them right up to the chin.
Chad, head tennis coach. How many years you been here?
This is my third year as the head girls
And
tennis coach.
I love what you did. You see my phone number up on the YouTube. So Chad starts texting me midway through your tennis season. Former tennis player, played tennis with your dad here at the high school. And I love that you would reach out to promote your own sport. So why don't you talk a little bit about this year's season? We gave a couple updates throughout the course of the year on YouTube. But
Yeah, thank you for giving the updates. This was an extremely special year. Taking over 3 years ago, our goal was to just first change the culture of the program from a great fun culture, but to being able to have fun and be competitive for the first time, honestly, since really the 90s. And we've seen steps each process, and this year we knew we only had one graduate from varsity, so we knew this had a great amount of potential. And this year we saw a lot of just records and new things being broken. We beat Menominee for the first time in over 15 years. First time we've been in the top 3 in conference. In over 15 years, the most wins River Falls girls tennis has had in the 21st century was 5, and we beat that in the first week and ended up with 13-6, the second best season in girls tennis history.
Wow. All right. So Lemke, you've been there for all 3 years with him?
Yes.
What changed? How did the culture have to change, and how were you a part of the change of the culture?
Attitude was a big thing my freshman year. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to practice. My sophomore year, people were like, okay, this is starting to get serious. We're starting to get good. Positivity started coming out in people. And then this year, everybody's positive. Everybody wanted to be there. We knew what we could do, and we did what we did.
So what has this guy done to change that? Is he positive Rick here, or what is he?
Oh yeah, he's positive. He pushes us really hard, which raises our standards a lot. He's a great coach.
Yeah.
Let's give him credit.
No, I did that. I played high school tennis for 3 years, like I said, with your old man. We had Lee Lewitt come in for 1 year when our coach was sick, and unbelievable coach and how hard he pushed it. But it was fun. Kids like to be pushed. Like I said, nobody loves structure more than kids. So what's coming up for next year? Great season this year, moving forward.
Next year I think what's nice is we've built this base now where even though we graduate 6, we have Kaylee and other returning varsity players and this great group of younger players that are ready to step in.
You got them in the funnel.
Yeah. And even more encouraging, we've had the struggle of no feeder program. So the majority of our girls start freshman year. And Peter Vitt, a teacher at the middle school, helped us out. He just started kind of a middle school club out of nowhere, and we've got a lot of kids interested. And so I've been working with Hastings Tennis Association as well, trying to duplicate what they're doing. We're going to see just keep feeding in, and just building this program even more, and it's the girls that are putting in the work.
This is the great thing about River Falls. His kids are over with my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So my little son and daughter and my mother-in-law are babysitting his kids, watching it right now.
River Falls is not on a lot of maps, and I hope it stays that way because this is a special place.
It is
a special community. It really is.
So Lemke, what do you do in the off season?
I go to a ton of camps, play with a ton of old guys at the St. Croix Tennis Center.
Is your old man back? Does he still play?
Yeah, he does.
He was
I
a
still
player,
haven't
dude.
beat him yet.
You haven't beat him? No, he's a player.
That's my goal. Yeah, just keep playing with everybody, trying to get them out and play, and that's,
Well, good. Keep it up. That's great. Love that you reached out to us. Appreciate you guys coming up here. Pretty cool moment. You got a prediction for tonight's game?
A win.
A win.
We got a Wildcat win. A Wildcat win. Chad, want to go out on a limb tonight? Give us a score. Come on, this is game day.
24-18.
24-18, River Falls.
Thank you.
Chad, thank you very much.
Says great things. My kids say great things about you.
Best of luck to you.
I'm trying to shake your hand, Westy.
Yeah, let's do it. Give me some right
there
here.
you go.
All right, we're not going anywhere yet. Though.
All right,
we're not going anywhere.
We're going back to the old timers. You ready, Bjork? What'd you do with Finstead? Oh,
that's
outstanding.
okay. So then you get all the time tonight.
All right, well, grab it.
Just
all
hold
right.
this right up to your chin, right there. Yep,
All
right. You can touch it there.
Jeff Bjork,
Jeff
man
Bjork.
of many hats, and tonight you're doing the chain gang like you do for every home game. So I appreciate your time doing that.
And I'm glad you're not on your phone tonight or on your computer and busting our chops about Wildcat trivia again.
Do that. He wouldn't. Do Guy, you're a database. You're a walking database.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean,
I appreciate it.
When I'm on away games, I'm watching you guys. And turn down the volume so I don't get a headache. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. We've had that before. He loves the music. What do you want? You got a request tonight, and I'll play a couple songs for you. All right, let's go to your Facebook.
Wait a minute. Let me share something with
Please
this
do.
chain gang because it involves a former Wildcat, Jerry Carter, class of 1948. So when I moved back to town in 2013, Mr. Carter goes to me. He goes, "So Jefferson, you're back in town now?" And I go, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Good. I'm done. I'm retiring." I go, "What? You're retiring from what?" He goes, chain gang. 57 years is enough. It's your job now.
Kramer?
So I go, 57 years? I can't do 57 years. He goes, oh, for, well, whatever sakes.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just do it as long as I'm alive, and when I die, you can quit.
Oh, he's still
So
alive.
I'm on year 6 now, and 51 more to go, or as long as Mr. Carter is alive.
All right, let's shift gears into your Facebook.
Yeah, well, it's not my Facebook. It's our Facebook.
It's not his, it's ours.
Yeah, it's ours.
He's from Waupun. It's just clap him back to Waupun.
He's a prison guard.
Right. Graduate. Give me your little history, your age, graduation year.
So I graduated in 81.
Yep.
And when, like I said, I moved back to town in 2013. And when I moved back into town, something that always bothered me, Mike, and I don't know if it bothered you, but we always had River Falls High School homecoming. Well, what the heck was homecoming? There was nothing for the alumni.
Good point.
So I was like, we got to do something so there's a reason to have homecoming. So in 2015, I rented out the basement of the library, and we had it all filled with pictures on every wall from every era, from the first class of 1887 to the current class of 2015 at the time. And we had trophies, and we had uniforms, whether they were band uniforms or football uniforms or basketball uniforms. We had every Kinnick from the very first year, which was in 1822, to the present year. We had school newspapers, we had artifacts, we had trophies, we had everything you could so people could touch and feel it and have a reason to come back for homecoming.
Nice.
So that was a 4-day event. And then the highlight.
How was the turnout?
The turnout was good. We had nearly 2,000 show up for the 4 days.
Good for
but
you.
the highlight of it, no, you say good for me?
Us.
It was really good for us.
Yeah.
None of this I'm doing for Jeff Bjork, or I'm not putting in the time for Jeff Bjork. I'm putting it in for our community to try to get us to be a whole and to be one, and not to be these individual little factions, but to be one. And so the highlight, though, Mike and Kevin, of our homecoming in 2015 was, we've had a few since then, but we have a homecoming king and queen that we anoint that time. In the very first year, we had our queen was from the class of 1934. It was Bess Knott, who was 100 years old that year.
Yep, I know Bess.
And then our king was supposed to be Father Pukwa from Marquette. So I talked to the father and I said, any interest? And he was class of 1937, and he was the U.S. leading authority on American Indian affairs and treaties, probably the most educated person in the state of Wisconsin, if not the upper Midwest, with multiple doctorate degrees and that, but he was a leading authority on Indian relations and treaties.
Wow.
And he was a former ambassador to, I think, Colombia or one of the South American countries. But I go, Father, what do you think about being the king for homecoming with Bess? He goes, oh, Jeff, I've been an ambassador, I've been a dean, I've been a chancellor, but I've never been a king. I'm looking so forward to being a king. I go, perfect. We will pick you up on this certain date. We'll bring you up to River Falls, and you can stay with my family for the weekend, and we'll bring you back. Well, that was a great plan until he died about a month earlier.
I was wondering if that was
So
coming.
Father Pukwa died a month earlier, and then what we ended up doing was having our king was Larry Nelson, who was the nephew of Bess. So we had an aunt and a nephew being our king and queen for the first year in 2015.
Hey, I want to shift gears a little bit with you.
Yeah.
So we got to get going here in a minute, but I shift gears. So I'm going
28 to 13 River Falls.
I like that. I wasn't even going to push the neutral official, but I like the way it goes out on a limb. That's awesome. No, Jeff, seriously. So about a year and a half ago, you had a serious incident. I mean, near-death experience.
That's right.
I know, Jeff. I know you've always lived every day to the fullest. Before that, has that changed you in any way as Jeff Bjork?
You know, it probably should, but it hasn't, just because of what you said, Kevin. I really always have looked at every day is important to try to make the most of it. Maybe it kind of goes back to, I had an older brother, Mike, who was supposed to be in the class of 1978 and was a 3-year starter already on the baseball team, was a starter on the basketball team, a starter on the football team, and a Wildcat. So, I guess at that time I always knew life is short. You don't know when you're going to lose somebody. And
What
both
year was,
you
what year
guys.
was he?
What's that?
What year was Mike?
Mike would have been class of 78. He died the summer right before his senior year.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. So, but I look at you two, and you guys do a great job with this and behind the camera. But I know number one, I know number one, what's on your guys' list and priorities. Your biggest rocks in your jars is your wife and kids. And your wife
always,
and kids.
always.
Always will be. You know,
Next guest.
You always heard that adage of, you know, if I had a jar, fill it up. You put in all these big rocks you can. And then somebody says, well, can you fit any more in there? No, that's all the big rocks I can fit in there. And then I give you a jar of sand, and you fit that sand in there. Yep. It's like, oh, I guess I can fit some more in there. They go, can you fit any more in there? And it's like, no. They go, well, here's a jar of water. And you put that water in there. Now you fill it up completely. And what's the moral of that is? The moral is you put in your big rocks first. For you guys and for myself, it's the family. It's the wife and the kids. Wildcats are important, and they always will be to us, but it's a wife and kids first in our community.
Yes. You've been around 10 more years than I have, and I've been around here in River Falls since 1972. Right now, I think we're in a great, great place as River Falls with the wonderful success we've had in sport and school, but it feels different. I don't know if it's because I'm older, or if it's a real sense of community. You know, Crail coming in with open arms. You know, my wife coming in 10 years ago and being greeted the way. Do you feel that too?
Yeah, I do in some regards, Mike. I really do, and I think part of that really is what you're doing, what the Alumni Association do. We're building a community, and I look back when I was a youth, and there's some really good football teams out here. But there wasn't better football teams than there was in the early 70s or the 50s. I mean, you know, they had teams that were lock, stock, barrel, ready to go, but they didn't have a state tournament until 1976. You know, you looked that year before in 1875.
Quiet. I got a Wildcat trivia date back there. Don't.
He's flirting with a Wildcat trivia.
Careful. All right, Mr. Bjork, you're on the chain with Brian Pahachik. Enjoy that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Hey, Jeff Bjork, I just want you to know this community is better because you're here.
Always.
You guys are big factors in making this a great community. So go Wildcats out. And what's always saying? Once a Wildcat,
always a Wildcat. Thank you, Jeff Bjork.
There we go. Thanks so much, buddy. Have a good night tonight. All right, next up, Madison Cayley, Sarah. Oh, look at what she's going to do. In case you didn't know what's going on here.
Hello, Madison. How are you?
Thank you so very much.
Good.
I've got my microphone.
Sarah, good to see you. Here we go.
How do they look, bud?
Turn this on. Hi. Good. How are you?
Good.
All right,
I was watching you guys from home.
Oh, yeah? Good. Then you say, I got a time that's just right, and then come on down.
All
So,
right,
just
Coach.
hold those microphones good and close to your mouths, and you'll be good to go. The
are
Cayley family, all right here, the rocks.
The only one that doesn't win a conference title is me. Everyone else does. You're kind of one of the tenured. You're the seasoned tenure coaching vet,
I'm
and
a
you've
veteran.
won 4
Crazy.
straight Big Rivers Conference championships. What is this year? Let's wrap up, right? You went through tons of adversity. You ramped up your schedule, and you didn't have half your team playing.
We did. Maddie and I were actually just talking about that when we were going through seeds in our section and where we fell against an Eau Claire North, against the Hudson. And then I said, well, you and Anna neither one played those matches, and we won both of them in 3. So being a solid 1 seed with a 2nd seed Eau Claire North and a 5th seed Hudson, there's a chance we could see Hudson next week and maybe North on next Saturday. But right now we got to get through Superior, which is tomorrow night.
All right, Coach, Maddie will direct this to you. Okay. Get a lot of compliments about the post-game interviews with our own girls volleyball team.
Oh, yeah.
And this year adding the other one. What does it mean for you crazy girls to come up and chat with Rob and Jeff and myself? I mean, but you're all very well spoken. I don't think our media training is that relevant. But
So before she answers that, I want to say this. So we're going to have the girls volleyball team next year coach the rest of the sports
Yes,
on media
I love
training.
that idea.
Because you guys are kind of setting the bar pretty high is all I'm saying.
That's what we try to do. We're overachievers over there.
So how do you do it, Maddie?
Well, everyone asks are you nervous? I'm I'm talking to my dad and Rob Derry. Yeah, a bunch of people are watching, but when it comes down to it, I'm talking to my dad and Rob Derry. And then I tell them not to calm their nerves, but I just try to have the best time I can up there and take it all in.
Do your teammates, do they get nervous? They all tell me they're nervous and they want to know what I'm going to ask them. I'm like, don't worry about it. You're just going to talk to me.
Yeah. Some do. Definitely the new people to varsity were definitely nervous coming up there first time. But the people that are kind of veterans to it, they are awesome. And
I know you don't think the media training helps, but it does.
It must help. Something is helping, Sarah. You've unlocked some magic box for these kids, but and I want to give too. So I had a son who played college baseball for 4 years, but when college coaches are watching those tapes, they're watching that interview, and they're assessing you on those interviews.
Can you think on your feet?
You know that, right?
Yeah.
As Sarah, as a college player, can you think on your feet? Can you complete sentences? And so that's a big part of also being an athlete and a student is being able to communicate like that.
Represent
as well.
your team, and
Yes.
Well, that puts a little pressure on it. Guess I never thought about it like that.
You weren't nervous before.
Now I'm done, yeah.
All right, Coach, last question. Maddie, both of you guys, what do you got to do to win a state championship?
I'll let you answer first. I know the answer. I want to see what you say.
You see this behind you? This is college game day.
Yeah.
WIA. Coach Stick, how are you, brother?
To win us?
Do you want me to answer it?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I don't want you to flounder. I'm trying to give you a pause
Thank
here.
you.
The first year we were just overwhelmed. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were just so excited to be there. The second year we had all the pieces of the puzzle that we needed, but we didn't know how to finish because it's just such a bigger stage. And there's pressure, and you don't know how people are going to respond to that pressure. I think last year having the adversity at the end of the season, and it was the first time we'd really dealt with injury to that magnitude when Maddie broke her foot. I thought we played well, but when push came to shove and we had a little pressure put on us, we didn't know how to respond because that's not the lineup we had rolled with in those tight situations throughout the year. So I think all of those have been learning experiences for us to where now the kids that are Maddie, Emily, Hallie, who have been there for 4 years, Abby Derry, Abby Larson, they've been there for 3 years. We have so much experience, kids that have gone through all of those situations, that I'm not sure, knock on wood, Rob, that there's a situation we haven't seen that's going to be thrown at us that we don't know what to do with.
Do you feel, knowing that's coming down the stretch, you're going to be hopefully in the Rush Center?
Yes.
Do you feel pressure? Do you feel like you just can't wait to get down there?
There's excitement and there's pressure. It's the best of both worlds. But yeah, there's definitely pressure. It's just a whole new ball game up there. But we talk about in practice when we're not having everything go our way and we pull it back, and it's mostly Hallie, Emily, and Abby Derry and I talking. We just say this is our season. We always talk about falling short, but we have to take every moment and every ball it's our last, because it definitely could be at one point.
I told the girls today we have 5 team practices left. That's it, 5.
She loves counting it down.
5.
She loves counting it down.
I do, because
it's finite
when
and
you
it's
look at
going.
these 7 seniors, I'm you have 5 times to be in this gym practicing together, and then it's done. And I don't think you always realize that when you're in the moment until you're done, and you're I don't get to do that anymore.
Were you here with Ricksman and Luke Nelson?
I couldn't really
We
hear
had just
it,
come
but
As soon as I asked them, what would be your advice to these guys, Ricksman said, cherish every moment.
Cherish every moment
says,
and realize it's fleeting.
Yeah, and he
and
says,
you enjoy every moment,
I played
every
with these
set,
kids since they were
every
kindergartners.
spike, every day. I mean, enjoy it and just lay it on the line, because there is no tomorrow.
I heard
None.
you ask Jaden Wywoody, do you have a chance to really stop and kind of
Take a
soak
look
it
at
in?
him.
You have to. You have to, because there's a chance you might not have that experience again. We've been fortunate to be there, 3 times in a row, hopefully 4, but we're looking for a different outcome this time. So it'll be a different experience.
You ready to go get the ball game started upstairs?
I don't know. I thought we were going to get a Hodag head and a Wildcat head tonight, and you were going to put one on, and I wasn't sure. Little Lee Corso tonight. But if we had a Wildcat head, Mike, where's Wiley? You, Mike, what do you think? You taking the Wildcats tonight, Mike?
I was hoping my phone would freeze
and
up here.
and our really sophisticated graphics on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
I take the
Wildcats.
Wildcats.
What do you think? Wildcats tonight?
Wildcats by 20 is my guess.
Wildcats
Matt, you got a guess?
I like that.
I like that too. I think that's a good goal for them.
I'm going to say Wildcats by 24. I'm feeling solid.
21.
I'm going to say 24-14 Wildcats.
I'm going to say
Got 'em by 10.
There you go.
21.
How about that?
42-14.
42-14
Wow.
prediction for Mike Haley.
That's big. I've been doing some statistical homework. All right, Westy, should we wrap this up?
I think so.
Thank you guys
Maddie,
for
we
having
always
us.
say in volleyball, always be sure to
Unleash your inner Wildcat.
There we go. Thank you.